Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. How you all doing today? We're going back, not going back as far back as we've been before. Starting to sound like something from Star Trek now. But we're going back to Throne of Eldraine, and one of the cards that came out in the sets then of the Brawl decks was this one, and it turned up on MTGO, and I've been wanting to talk about it for ages, and I've actually got around to it. But there's something I need to tell you before I show you this. One thing about the deck take, two things about me. Firstly, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Leave me a like, leave me a comment. Even if you hate the video, just tell me what went wrong, what you didn't like. I've been putting a lot of videos up recently, and they haven't been very successful. Let's go with that. Which is a little bit disappointing for me, but I'd like to know what's going wrong with them, so you can tell me below. That's there. Secondly, come and follow me on Twitch. I'm trying to get up to 100 followers on Twitch. The link's down below in the description. I'm at 94 at the moment as I record this video. Once I do the 100, I've got a celebration deck planned, and that'll go up, and we'll play that for a week on stream and just lose to everyone who comes and plays a game with me on MTGO on Twitch. But that's what I'm planning and looking at doing. But hopefully I need to get to 100 first and do that. Finally, this deck take. This is unusual for you. Obviously it's 100 cards. It's a commander deck. Don't even worry about that side of it. However, there are 38 lands. Not that unusual for me. There are two cards that you are going to be surprised I'm not playing if you watched any of my other deck tech videos. But there's 38 lands. There are just three other cards in the deck, and they are 3 artifacts. The rest of the deck, the 58 remaining slots, are all creatures. That's right, it's a very creature heavy deck. And without further ado, here is the deck itself. Whoops. And I've just realised I haven't got the pane up properly to show you. And it is... oh, gotta love it when things go wrong when you're live recording. Chulane, Teller of Tales. 2 green, blue and white for legendary human druid. 2/4, Vigilance. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. And then 3, tap Chulane. Return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Why am I playing this? I wanted to play the heaviest creature deck I could that wasn't goblins, basically, in Commander. And this is actually what I came up with. I'm going to go through it. There's going to be a few surprises. There's going to be a few interesting things. But what I've tried to do is include as many of what we used to call 187 creatures, things that happen when they come into play. Or, not 187, that's the wrong description. Wherever it is, there was a number for things when they came into play. To see what we could do with them and take advantage of Chulane's ability to bounce them back and do it again. So, the lands, pretty straightforward. Blighted Woodland to go and get some lands if we need to, Blossoming Sands, Plenty, so on and so forth. I have gone a little bit over the top when you see the price of the deck list, because Gaze Cradle's in here. You don't have to play this. I'm just playing it because I've got one on MTGO and I thought it would go quite well in this deck since everything's a creature, apart from 3 cards. I've also included Spara's Headquarters, bright colours, it's in now, so we might as well have it. We've got Castle Vantress, we've got the other castles, and I've got Gavany Township, that's what I was looking for. So I can pump all my creatures up as things go along. So, that's the starting thing. The second thing is just the artifacts. Elixir of Immortality, so we can shuffle everything back in once it gets killed. And I'd imagine a lot of it will get killed very quickly. Soul Ring to help with the mana ramp a little bit, along with Arcane Signet. That's it. That's all the ramp I'm playing that isn't on a land or comes in for a creature. Yep, that's really unusual for me. And notice also in the lands there's no Field of the Dead and no Fabled Passage. I've avoided them for this deck, so, you know, high five me. However, everything else you can see in front of you is a creature. So, we'll go through them really quickly, because most of them you will probably know what they do, and the ones you may not know, we'll stop on. So, Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant, Birds of Paradise, you probably all know what they do, along with Elvish Mystic, Essence Warden, Fire Nord Elves, Landwire Elves. If you don't know what they all do now, you don't. You should know. The Elves all ramp, the Birds ramp, Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant, and Essence Warden gain us life as creatures come into play. We might need that to stay on the game. 2 drops, Knight of the White Orchid, go and find ourselves a Plains card, that's fine, we've got a few Plains in the deck, we'll go and get them with that. Cameo the Crescent Moon to help us draw cards and everyone else draw cards. Elvish Visionary for us to draw cards. Elvish Warmaster is purely here to give us some blockers and eventually hopefully give all our elves +2 in Death Touch. So it's a minor win condition. So we've got quite a few elves kicking through this deck overall. Gala Greeters is here. Whenever a creature enters battlefield under control, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, and you know, +1/+1 treasure token, gain 2 life. Treasure token can be relevant. Incubation Druid helps us cast mana. Helps us cast our creatures, along with Sylvan Caryatid. Tangled Frohedron is either a land or creature, depending what you need at the time. Emeria, Soul of Accord, comes in, gives us some tokens when we get it tapped. Catilda, Dawn Part of Pride, protection from werewolves. It gives a lot of our human creatures, like Soul Warden and Soul's Attendant, the ability to tap for mana of any colour. So, you know, can't complain too badly about that. And at the end of the day, 6 mana, pump it, put +1/+1s everywhere. Kinnon's here. Whenever you tap a non-permanent land, non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent could produce. Yep, okay, and that will help us go and find some of our non-human creatures in our deck. And I've also included Lonis because, hey, why not? We've got a lot of creatures, we can nick some people's stuff as we go along. 3 drops. Adelaine Resplendent Cathars appearing. We've got lots of creatures, get attacks in. Bit of a no-brainer. Azusa, so we can drop more lands if we need to. Reclamation Sage to deal with either annoying artifacts or enchantments. It's one of the main targets we'll be bouncing with Chulane. Rift Sower. I was trying to find a way of gaining some more mana, really. This is just another elf. You can suspend it on turn 1 though if you've got nothing else to do, so why not? Wood Elves goes and finds us a forest card. We have a few duels that have got forest in their titles, so we can go find them as well, which is quite nice. Elvish Archdruid, tap it. All the elves we've got gives us more mana. Same with the Circle of Dreams Druid. It's an elf as well, so it helps with this, but it also has a slightly different thing where it taps for each creature you control, which can be quite nice, especially when we get up to the top end of the deck. Knight of Autumn to blow things up, gain life, put some tokens, +1/+1 counters around. Edric Spymaster Address. Yeah, well, you know. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may draw a card. It'll help our opponents out a little bit, but if they're not attacking me, they get to draw. Uro. This has gone down quite a lot in price on MTGO recently, so it's worth picking one up if you haven't got one. But the ability to gain 3 and draw a card and put an extra land into play, then escape it. The escape bit probably won't happen that often, unless there's things we're not worried about losing, because we obviously want to keep recycling our creatures, but I figured what the hell, it's worth a try. Hero of Bladehold gets that battle cry, pumps everyone, gives us small tokens to play with. Phyrexian Metamorph can copy anything on the battlefield, so you can actually copy one of your opponent's artifacts if you really need the mana. Bear that in mind. Accomplished Alchemist, another elf that taps for mana, and it also gives us, if we gain any life via any way, we can get mana for that life gain. Goreclaws in here to reduce the casting cost of our creatures with a power of 4 or more, and we've got a lot of them coming up. Rampant Rejuvenator, just to go and find some basic lands if we need to. Beast Whisperer helps us with our card draw, so if we've got this in play and Chulane in play and we cast a creature, we'll draw 2 cards, we'll get to put them both, you know, a land into play and both in our hand, which can be useful. Brago's here, so yeah, I just fancy like playing Brago, really. I'm not going to hide from the fact that it can exile things, bring them back, you know, exiling something like our Wood Elves or some of the cards we've got coming up. Could be useful. Elvish Visionary springs to mind. Yeah, so why not? Ephera, God of the Polis. It is a creature eventually, hopefully. I suppose people could argue, but it comes under the creature thing when I put it in the deck, so it's a creature. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you had another creature enter battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card at the beginning of each upkeep, so, you know, helps us get a little bit drawing. Lenore chucks around +1/+1 counters. Kilda helps us cast stuff for each card we draw on this turn, so worst comes to worst, it's 1 colourless mana. If it's more than that, it might be 2, but you know. Arashimi, Eternity's Crafter, lets us look at the top cards and play it without paying its mana cost if it's less mana value, which a lot of the time it will be, so that's quite useful. Stockic Angel. Yeah, I thought this might upset some people. It's a bit like Winter Orb for creatures, really. Players can't attack more than one creature during their untap steps. This has got Vigilance, so it'll still attack, but we've got a way around it because we're playing a creature deck. And I'll come to it in a second. Speakeasy Servant, 3/3, not the greatest stats in the world, but it does gain us some life if we need it. Likewise, Bishop of Rebirth, when it attacks, gets some of our 3 casting costs back from the graveyard, so some of these things that might have died, so that seemed like a good plan. How we get round Stoic Angel is here with Seedborn Muse. And then we go into Kamadri, God of the Harvest, because, you know, casting creature spells, getting Forest or Plains card, thins our library a little bit. This may be a bit weak because we haven't got that many lands, but we'll see. And then finally, Kerriger, the macro Sage. Now, I did start this deck having this as the companion over here with Chulane, and then starting from here onwards, but I decided I needed the ramp to make this work, hence why I've put it in the deck. Yeah, we're going to cast it, we're going to draw some cards. This seems like a reasonable plan. If you can think of ways of getting rid of these 22 cards here and then just play this as a companion, you may be better off. But I tried, I couldn't think of anything, so we changed it round. Sun Titan brings back stuff that's been killed at power of mana value 3 or less. Consecrated Sphinx lets us draw more cards. Azor's here because, why not? I want to play Azor as well. And it's quite nice when it enters the battlefield, your opponent can't cast instants or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. And you can kind of do a semi-lock if you keep blinking it out with wherever I've put Brago. If you keep blinking Azor out with Brago, you get a little bit of a combo going. Progenitor Mimic's there because it's quite nice. You just come in, copy as a creature on the battlefield, and then you get a copy each turn. Works really well with something like Crater Hoof, as you can imagine. Amareth the Lustrous. All your cards that come into play are going to share a card type with a permanent, so you're always going to draw off this as well. Elish Norn, pump your creatures, make everyone else's creatures smaller. Seems like a no-blamer. Agent of Treachery. Hello, thank you. Nick something you really want to take off your opponent. Seems like a cunning plan to me. Tishana, Voice of Thunder, comes in, no maximum hand size, draw a card for each creature you control. Yeah, very good. Avacynth is in here. I had to do it, sorry. 8 mana, make everything indestructible. If you want your creatures indestructible, they survive things like Damnation, Wrath of God, so on and so forth. Anything they then don't survive is anything that exiles them. There's not many of them being played that I've seen recently. Crater Hoof I've mentioned already. Is a win condition. Golter, also a win condition, believe it or not. And finally, down the end here, Hydroid Crassus, because I had a slot left and I decided to go with this to keep it on theme of what I was trying to do. So, it's a bit of a weird deck, I'll give you that. It's not a deck you will often see played in Commander, I promise you that much. And I'm sure if you do see this, there's probably a lot better versions of it out there, but I want to play something fun, hence why you've got a deck with 58 creatures, 3 non-creature spells and 38 lands, plus Chulane. So, hope you enjoyed this. As I said before, please follow me on here, come and find me on Twitch and join me on Twitch, and hopefully I'll see you soon. And leave me some comments, let me know what you think. If you think I should do something more competitive for Chulane, tell me below down in the comments and I'll put something together. But in the meantime, take care, see you soon, bye.